Hi friends, Miss Amy here for another book on Miss Amy Reads. Today I have the Poetry for Kids, Robert Frost. It's his poetry edited by Jay Perini and illustrated by Michael Paraskevas. The Pasture. I'm going to read it. I'll show you the picture and then I'll read the poem. I'm going out to clean the pasture spring. I'll only stop to rake the leaves away and wait to watch the water clear I may. I shan't be gone long. You come too. I'm going out to fetch the little calf that's standing by the mother. It's so young it totters when she licks it with her tongue. I shan't be gone long. You come too. Totters, wobbles, wavers. A late walk. When I go up through the mowing field, the headless aftermath, smooth laid like thatch with heavy dew, half closes the garden path. And when I come to the garden ground, the whir of sober birds up from the tangle of withered weeds is sadder than any words. A tree beside the wall stands bare, but a leaf that lingered brown, disturbed I doubt not by my thought, comes softly rattling down. I end, not far from my going forth, by picking the faded blue of the last remaining aster flower to carry again to you. Aftermath means what comes after. So here's the picture for that. Into my own. One of my wishes is that those dark trees, so old and firm they scarcely show the breeze, were not as 'twere the merest mask of gloom, but stretched away unto the edge of doom. I should not be withheld but that some day into their vastness I should steal away, fearless of ever finding open land, or highway where the slow wheel pours the sand. I do not see why I should e'er turn back, or those should not set forth upon my track, to overtake me who should miss me here, and long to know if still I held them dear. They would not find me changed from him they knew, only more sure of all I thought was true. Ghost House. I dwell in a lonely house I know, that vanished many a summer ago, and left no trace but the cellar walls, and a cellar in which the daylight falls, and the purple-stemmed wild raspberries grow. O'er ruined fences that grapevines shield, the woods come back to the mowing field. The orchard tree has grown one copse of new wood, and old where the woodpecker chops. The footpath down to the well is healed. I dwell with a strangely aching heart in that vanished abode there far apart, on that disused and forgotten road that has no dust bath now for the toad. Night comes, the blackbats tumble and dart, the whippoorwill is coming to shout, and hush and cluck and flutter about. I hear him begin far enough away, full many a time to say his say, before he arrives to say it out. It is under the small dim summer star, I know not who these mute folk are, who share the unlit place with me, those stones out under the low-limbed tree. Doubtless bear names that the mosses mar. They are tireless folk, but slow and sad, though too close keeping our lass and lad, with none among them that ever sings, and yet in view of how many things, as sweet companions as might be had. And here's the picture for that one. My November Guest. My sorrow, when she's here with me, thinks these dark days of autumn rain are beautiful as days can be. She loves the bare, the withered tree. She walks the sodden pasture lane. Her pleasure will not let me stay. She talks and I am fain to list. She's glad the birds are gone away. She's glad her simple worsted gray is silver now with clinging mist. The desolate, deserted trees, the faded earth, the heavy sky, the beauties she so truly sees, she thinks I have no eye for these, and vexes me for a reason why. Not yesterday I learned to know the love of bare November days, before the coming of the snow, but it were vain to tell her so, and they are better for her praise. Picture for that one. Stars, how countlessly they congregate o'er our tumultuous snow, which flows in shapes as tall as trees when wintry winds do blow. As if with keenness for our fate, our faltering few steps on to white rest and a place of rest invisible at dawn. And yet with neither love nor hate, those stars like some snow white, Minerva's snow white marvel eyes, without the gift of sight. Storm fear. When the wind works against us in the dark and pelts with snow the lowest chamber window on the east, and whispers with a sort of stifled bark, the beast. Come out, it costs no inward struggle not to go. Ah no, I count our strength. Two and a child, those of us not asleep, subdued to mark how the cold creeps as the fire dies at length, how drifts are piled, dooryard and road ungraded, till even the comforting barn grows far away, and my heart owns a doubt whether 'tis in us to arise with day and save ourselves unaided. They're standing in a window with a blizzard blowing outside. To the thawing wind. Come with rain, O loud southwester, bring the singer, bring the nester. Give the buried flower a dream, make the settled snowbank steam. Find the brown beneath the white, but whatever you do tonight, bathe my window, make it flow, melt it as the ices go. Melt the glass and leave the sticks like a hermit's crucifix. Burst into my narrow stall, swing the picture on the wall, run the rattling pages o'er, scatter poems on the floor, turn the poet out the door. A prayer in spring. Oh, give us pleasure in the flowers today, and give us not to think so far away. As the uncertain harvest, keep us here, all simply in the springing of the year. Oh, give us pleasure in the orchard white, like nothing else by day, like ghost by night. And make us happy in the happy bees, like the swarm dilating round the perfect trees. And make us happy in the darting bird that suddenly above the bees is heard, the meteor that thrusts in with needle bill, and off a blossom in midair stands still. For this is love, and nothing else is love, to which is reserved for God above, to sanctify to what far ends he will, but which it only needs that we fulfill. Flower gathering. I left you in the morning, and in the morning glow, you walked away beside me to make me sad to go. Do you know me in the gloaming, gaunt and dusty gray with roaming? Are you dumb because you know me not, or dumb because you know? All for me, and not a question for the faded flowers gay, that could take me from beside you for the ages of a day. They are yours, and be the measure of their worth for you to treasure, the measure of the little while that I've been long away. Flower gathering. Morning. There was never a sound beside the wood but one, and that was my long scythe whispering to the ground. What was it What was it? It whispered. I knew not well myself. Perhaps it was something about the heat of the sun, something perhaps about the lack of sound. That was why it whispered and did not speak. It was no dream of the gift of idle hours, or easy gold at the hand of fay or elf. Anything more than the truth would have seemed too weak. To the earnest love that laid the swale in rows, not without feeble pointed spikes of flowers, pale orchises, and scared a bright green snake, the fact is the sweetest dream that labor knows, my long scythe whispered and left the hay to make. That one was called Mowing. Going for water. The well was dry beside the door, and so we went with pail and can across the fields behind the house to seek the brook if it still ran. Not loath to have excuses to go, because the autumn eve was fair, though chill because the fields were ours, and by the brook our woods were there. We ran as if to meet the moon that slowly dawned behind the trees, the barren boughs without the leaves, without the birds, without the breeze. But once within the wood we paused, like gnomes that hid us from the moon, ready to run to hiding new, with laughter when she found us soon. Each laid on other a staying hand to listen ere we dared to look, and in the hush we joined them to make, we knew we heard the brook. A note as from a single place, a slender tinkling fall that made now drops that floated on the pool like pearls, and now a silver blade. Going for water. The tuft of flowers. I went to turn the grass once after one, who mowed it in the dew before the sun. The dew was gone that made his blade so keen. Before I came to view the leveled scene, I looked for him behind an aisle of trees. I listened for his whetstone on the breeze. But he had gone his way, the grass all mown, and I must be as he had been alone. All must be, I said within my heart, whether they worked together or apart. But as I said it, swift there passed me by, on noiseless wing, a wildered butterfly, seeking with memories grown dim o'er night, some resting flower of yesterday's delight. And once I marked his flight go round and round, as where some flower lay withering on the ground, and then he flew as far as I could see, and then on tremulous wing came back to me. I thought of questions that have no reply, and would have turned to toss the grass to dry, but he turned first and led my eye to look at a tall tuft of flowers beside a brook. A leaping tongue of bloom the scythe had spared, beside a reedy brook the scythe had bared. I left my place to know them by their name, finding them butterfly weed when I came. The mower in the dew had loved them thus, by leaving them to flourish, not for us, nor yet to draw one thought of ours to him, but from sheer morning gladness at the brim. The butterfly and I had lit upon, nevertheless, a message from the dawn, that made me hear the weakening birds around, and hear his long scythe whispering to the ground, and feel a spirit kindred to my own, so that henceforth I worked no more alone. But glad with him I worked, as with his aid, and weary sought at noon with him the shade, and dreaming, as it were, held brotherly speech with one whose thought I had not hoped to reach. Men work together, I told him from the heart, whether they work together or apart. And that one's called The Tuft of Flowers. October. O hushed October morning mild, thy leaves have ripened to the fall. Tomorrow's wind, if it be wild, should waste them all. The crows above the forest call, tomorrow they may form and go. O hushed October morning mild, begin the hours of this day slow. Make the day seem to us less brief, hearts not averse to being beguiled. Beguile us in the way you know. Release one leaf at break of day, at noon release another leaf. One from our trees, one far away, retard the sun with gentle mist, enchant the land with amethyst. Slow, slow, for the grape's sake, if they were all, whose leaves already are burnt with frost, whose clustered fruit must else be lost, for the grape's sake, along the wall. It's called October. Reluctance. Out through the fields and the woods, and over the walls I have wended. I have climbed the hills of view, and looked at the world and descended. I have come by the highway home, and lo, it is ended. The leaves are all dead on the ground, save those that the oak is keeping, to ravel them one by one, and let them go scraping and creeping out over the crusted snow when others are sleeping. And the dead leaves lie huddled and still, no longer blown hither and thither. The last lone aster is gone, the flowers of the witch hazel wither. The heart is still aching to seek, but the feet question whither. Ah, when to the heart of man was it ever less than a treason to go with the drift of things, to yield with grace to reason, and bow and accept the end of a love or a season? That one is called Reluctance. And I think I will save the rest of this book for tomorrow. I love you, my friends, and I miss you, and I can't wait to see you soon. And I hope you have a great rest of your day.